Hello everybody, my name is Ipek and today we are gonna talk about Moscato. So what is Moscato? Moscato is a type of wine that is made out of Muscat grape. Today we are gonna be trying a semi-sweet style from Turkey. So before we taste, I want to talk about the back of the bottle. The back label of the wine tells you what are the best pairings for this wine and how you should serve it. The recommended temperature for this wine is 6 to 8 degrees Celsius. First thing you want to do after opening a bottle of wine is smelling the cork. When I sniff this cork, I am actually looking for any funky scent. If you smell a bad scent, it means that your wine might not be good anymore. But when I smell this cork, it's actually smelling like flowers and fruits, so my wine should be fine. That's why sometimes they hand you the cork in the restaurants to check whether your wine is still fine or not. I know this is not the best glass for this wine, but in the future I'm hoping to have better glasses. But today, this is what I have. Let's pour the glass of wine. Before we taste our wine, we are going to check the color of the wine and the bubble level. As I said earlier, Moscato have several different types. One of them is called Moscato d'Asti, which is coming from northern Italy, and it's a sparkly wine. So let's check the color. I suggest you to have a piece of paper so you can see the color better to create a background. The color of this wine is straw yellow with green reflections, I would say. And you can see that when you do a little swirl in your glass, you will see some drops going down. In this wine, you're not seeing much. If you see high viscosity, it means that probably the alcohol level of the wine is high. But for this wine, we can say that it has pretty low alcohol. Now it's time to do a sniff test. In the first sniff, we are gonna look for whether this wine is good, like it's not spoiled, or is there any wine faults like oxidation. And also we are trying to figure out what are the first aromas in this wine. Alright, I'm definitely smelling flowers. It's like a bouquet. And sweet fruits. I am not great with fruits, but I would say it smells like a little bit like peach, I would say. Yeah, it's very peachy, if this is a word. So now we are gonna do our first sip and we will see whether we are tasting peach or flowers or whatever we smell in this wine. Let's try it. And before we try it, I would like to say, usually you, in a professional tasting events, you try a little bit to taste and you spit it out, but we are not that close yet, so I'm not gonna spit anything. And I know that you don't wanna waste your wine, so we are gonna have a small sip and try to figure out what are the aromas in this wine. Alright, I'm definitely tasting absolutely delicious, sweet, fruity wine here. Now I taste a little bit apricot as well. While we are tasting this, I want to say that this whole fruity and sweet taste is coming from Muscat grape itself because it's such a sweet and juicy grape, so it does not need any additional sugar. So that's why many people really like that wine. It's naturally very sweet, flavorful wine. Now we are going to go back for the second sniff and try to figure out whether we are perceiving different aromas. Because sometimes when you first smell the wine, you just determine whether it's bitter, sweet, or sour. And in the second sniff, you get more deep aromas. So let's sniff again. Let's swirl a little bit to get our aromas on the air. Okay, now I'm smelling more citrusy fresh wine in here. So we are gonna follow this step with a second taste and we are gonna kind of have an overall idea about what are the flavors in this wine. This time I'm getting more sour flavors, citrusy flavors, and this is definitely matching with my sniffs. If you like wine tasting like me, I highly recommend you to have your own notebook so you can bring it with you and write down what did you taste or what did you smell for a certain wine varietal. This will definitely improve your wine tasting skills. Now we are going to do some wine pairing and see whether the recommended snacks are good with this wine or not. While preparing some snacks, I'm going to give you some fun facts. Based on what I learned, Moscato was the favorite wine type for Cleopatra. Moscato is one of the oldest grape varietal dating back to ancient Greece and Rome. What makes Moscato truly unique is its natural sweetness and floral aroma, which come from compounds called terpenes. Terpenes are small aromatic molecules found in plants that contribute to the aromas and flavors in many food and beverages. Specifically, terpenes like linalool, found in lavender, geraniol, found in roses, and citronellol, found in lemons, give Moscato its signature notes of orange blossom and rose. Today's wine is from Küp Winery, located in Denizli, Turkey. They began their journey with just a 700-liter clay vessel and have grown over the years. The region's climate, with its significant temperature differences between day and night, creates ideal conditions for grape ripening, helping to balance the wine acidity and sweetness. Additionally, the region's high-altitude vineyards and well-drained limestone and clay soils contribute to producing complex and aromatic wines. And just to clarify, this video is not sponsored. Okay, now we are going to do some tasting. I have an assistant in here, so I think he wants to try cheese as well. Over here we have ricotta, we have dried apricot, spicy pickled pepper, cashew, almond, walnut, goat cheese, lemon jam. Finally, we have apple strudel that I showed you how to make. We're going to start with ricotta. I'm going to get a little bit of the cheese and I'm going to get a sip of wine. Honestly, this is not a bad match, but nothing special. They're not canceling each other out, but they are not enhancing each other's flavor, which is sometimes good because we are looking for balance in the food and wine pairing. I want to continue with the dry apricot because, as I mentioned before, I get a lot of apricot flavors and scent in this wine. So I'm curious how I'm going to taste it. It's a big bite, sorry. Honestly, I think the apricot might be too sweet for this wine because it overpowered the wine, so I didn't get lots of flavor from my wine. Next, we have the cashew. Let's try. I think cashew is really good with this wine because it totally balanced the sweetness. All right, let's continue with the almond. With the almond, I can taste the wine flavors more than the almond flavor, which means it might not be a great match because the wine is overpowering. And now we are going to move on to the goat cheese. Sorry.
You dropped some.
Did I redo again?
No.
It's stinky. Let's try. I don't know what I should feel about that. The goat cheese was such a flavorful cheese. I cannot taste anything else. It's supposed to be good with this wine. I mean, I'm a beginner for tasting wine, but I wouldn't go for this cheese. If you're gonna taste Moscato first time, I would go for other less flavorful cheeses. Let's try walnut. I really like the nutty flavor with the Moscato wine. I was always missing some nutty flavors in this wine. I was thinking that naturally it should have it. Maybe it does, maybe I didn't taste it or sniff it. But with the walnut, I really can tell that this is a good match. Now I'm gonna try lemon jam, which I hate. I don't like lemon jam. But let's try. It's very sour, somehow. Also very sweet. That's amazing together. I can taste all citrusy flavors, and I hate that because I don't like lemon jam. But I think I'm only able to eat lemon jam with Moscato wine now. It's such a citrusy, fresh combination together. I definitely suggest you drink your Moscato wine, especially this type, with lemon cheesecake, for example. I think it will be amazing. So let's continue with something safe again, which is our apple strudel in here. Yeah, that's okay. Nothing very special. I was expecting getting more apple flavor from the wine. I did not get any apple flavor from this wine, but maybe you get. So you try and tell me what was your experience about apple dessert or apple pie with Moscato wine. Some Moscato wines were suggested with Asian cuisine. That's why I imagined that it would be also a really good match with spicy pickled pepper. But let's try.
You can eat more than that.
Ooh! I need my wine. I did not particularly like it. Maybe I should try different spicy foods with it. Maybe it's because it's pickled, but it feels like they are two distinct things that are not going alongside. Okay, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching my first video. For the next video, please grab a bottle of wine. I will share in the community post what type of wine varietal I'm gonna try. And let's try together some crazy snacks with the wine. Also, I will try to give you some scientific information about tasting wine. And let me know if you're interested in more scientific side of the wine or winemaking or wine tasting. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy with this video and I am hoping to see you in my next wine tasting video. Take care. Do I have ricotta in my mouth?
No.
Okay.